And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for being here on this beloved Friday. I'm glad y'all watching us first, and then y'all going out to hit the club and go out to that fancy restaurant with your person that you like or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But doing all right, Bryan. You doing all right? I'm doing all right. Let's get some work done, man, on this beloved Friday. Now, this is the last 4 players we're gonna watch unless some emergency stuff kick off, right? That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that maybe that you and I could have a discussion tomorrow, being Saturday.
Sure.
Is there 4 more players that we need, or 2 more players, or 1 more player?
Yeah.
I wanted to maybe go through. I need to try and find out if there's any more on this 30 visit list that we need to know about.
Yeah.
And there's anybody from Dallas Day that we need to know about, that we need to kind of cover up. We're going to be well over 200 players.
Yeah.
We're going to, hopefully we'll have most of them covered for you. There'll be some, of course, when that won't be, but I think for the most part, we've got the guys that you need to know about. There might be 1 or 2 guys that I want to go through maybe this weekend.
Sure.
And look at Dane Brugler's Beast, which is out now for the Athletic. And if you're a member of the Athletic, you probably have already got that in hand. But maybe there's 1 or 2 guys a position. Maybe you cover up a linebacker, maybe cover up another guy. I'm probably out of the wide receiver business. I'm probably out of the running back business.
Pass rusher.
I'm probably out of the pass rusher business. If there's a couple of linebackers that I haven't seen, I might be in that business, and I might be in the safety business to get some guys. But for the most part, I think we're coming to the end of what our evaluation is going to be for these guys. And you know what? And then, like, I know you've got your situation, how you're handling it here on the site. I'm going to give Voch my board. He can post it for me, and you can have that look. And then I also have my stack, which I'm going to work on Saturday, going from 1 to the final, whatever number I come up with. And I'm going to post that on 105.3 The Fans website, and also my board on 105.3 The Fans website. So just a couple of places that I want to be really transparent about this. I want you to see the stack. I want you to see how I saw these guys. I want you to see my board, how I have them ranked, and you can tear the thing apart, or you could say, you know what, I agree with you on these guys. Either way, I'm totally good with it.
Bryan, I got a 4 or 5 and 2 extras, and that's my problem. I was waiting on the day where we have an episode, and I was going, Bryan, we got 4 extras. It's time to stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm still finding 4s and 5s, Bryan Broaddus. But if you had to guess on who my 4s and 5s and my 2 extras are, Bryan, if you had to guess, who are those?
I think it's interesting because it depends on the film you watched of Haws, the tight end from Georgia Tech.
Okay.
If you watch the Florida State game, you might like him. If you didn't, you might not.
I watched Vanderbilt and Notre Dame for Haws.
Okay, then that's because he had some knockdowns in the Florida State game.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Frasier, Sanders, Majors, Haws.
I'm telling you, Bryan, you get really close, and it'd be like 1 off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I figured that.
I got Miles Frasier in the 4th round, Bryan Broaddus.
I knew you would.
I was really excited to see some of the things I saw from him.
Yeah.
Jake Majors is a 5 for me.
There you go.
Kind of sort of the same, but that's just where center is in this draft.
Sure.
Raheem Sanders is likely going to be like a 6th round guy.
Yes, sir. That's where I put him myself.
That qualifies for extras for me. So he's in my extras.
Right.
And then I got Haws in the extras as well, but he'll be a deeper extra. I don't know if he'll get drafted or not, but he's in a deeper extra for me. But that's my 4, Bryan. And look, man, to your point, I ain't really see much from Haws. And look, I hate that I walked into watching Jackson Haws with hearing somebody say, "Oh, he's the best blocker in the draft."
I'm with you on that.
So I went into it thinking that, and I didn't see none of that, so I was let down. But it is what it is. Raheem Sanders, which was interesting, Bryan, he contributed a bunch, and he had a bunch of yards, but I didn't think he got a lot of it by himself, and I didn't see a whole bunch of traits from him. And Miles Sanders, I was just pleasantly surprised from him, man. So where you want to kick this off at, Brian?
Why don't you go with the Frasier one first, if you would?
Miles
Miles
Frasier from LSU, Brian. I watched Ole Miss and South Carolina from him, Brian.
Good games to watch. So it's got defensive linemen in both of them,
and that's exactly why I went to him. And man, Brian, what I liked about Miles Sanders is that Miles Frasier, pardon me, Miles Frasier showed power off the rip. And I was happy about that. You know what I mean? If you're going to be a guard, I need to see you play with a little bit of power. I love to see him move guys around. I love seeing him trying to finish guys. I love to see him pull, kick, and finish people. South Carolina was very evident of that. And look, that's what I love about LSU. They saw, hey, look, you going to pull and whoop somebody? They kept doing it. And it was about 5 or 6 plays. He'll pull, kick, and finish. I love that about him. As a pass blocker, I felt like he had the feet to do it as a guard. I felt like he had the awareness to do it, but he didn't always have the technique to keep him strong.
Sure.
You could tell he's a powerful guy, but sometimes he'll get driven backwards because maybe his hands aren't under, maybe his elbows aren't tight, maybe he's standing up a bit tall. So I think he has traits to be a good pass blocker and to be strong and be a good anchor guy. He just doesn't quite know how to latch on and hold on, and just maintain his pass blocking. But I did think that he picked up gap exchange as well, and they tried to gap exchange him a bunch.
Yeah, a lot.
Sometimes he'll get turned on the gap exchange, but hey, coach, tell Miles to stay square, and he'll pick it up. Yeah. But he'll see it, but he'll be a little late because he's turned, but at least he recognizes that. But Brian, I was super happy about him as a physical drive guy, as a physical drive dude, and he drove good competition. That's what made me happy. So he's ready as a run defender. He's ready as a run blocker right now. A little bit of work as a pass block, a little bit of help from the center, combos and stuff like that. I think he'll be good to go. I got him in the 4th round. He may go 4th. Some team may like him and take him earlier than that. He may go in the 5th. I think that's his general range, though, Brian. What you think about Miles Frasier?
Yeah, I think you got this guy right. Miles Frasier, of course, from my alma mater of LSU, 6'6", 317. I watched Ole Miss and Alabama were the games that I watched as well. This guy's played all the offensive line positions except the center. He's a transfer from Florida International. This guy really passes the eye test when you watch him and how he looks. He's strong on contact. He could be a bully when he wants to be a bully. I think his hand usage and in the pass sets, he's able to kind of handle when people try and, swat at him, push on him, chop his hands. I think he could sit down on bull rushers. I think the fact that you mentioned about the awareness that he's able to play with. There's different games that were going on in these things, and he was able to pass those things. I thought he was super efficient when he was pulling the combos. I mean, he could hit the moving targets. I think this kid has a mean personality. I really, really do. Yeah, I think he's a very dependable player. At LSU, he played all the games, played all the snaps. I don't know how much of a burst he really has as a player. There's times where he could be a little bit of a waist bender. His pads get a little taller. The knee bend needs to be a little bit better at times. He could get caught flat-footed on some stuff, but I kind of felt like that he's that work he's going to need for those NFL twists, the awareness and all that. Hopefully those things will all work out, but it is something that he does have the awareness for the position. You mentioned about the inconsistency with some of the footwork. I totally agree with you on that. So I'm one of these guys that really likes this kid. He's kind of a big mauling kind of guy, but when you see him play in space, there's some encouraging things about his game. Yeah. So I too have him in the 4th round. Now I'm not the LSU homer guy here, but I'm going to appear to be one here. I think I had him better than Jonah from Zona.
Yeah.
And I had him better than Colby from Iowa. And those are those 2 other 4th round guys. So as I look at that, Frasier, Jonah from Zona in the 4th, and Colby from Iowa, those are my 3 4th round guys right now at the guard position.
Brian, I don't hate that at all. I think he's a guy that can come right in and at least like compete for you. He's not going to be a dude that's just sitting on the bench for just too long. I love what you're saying about him being better than Jonah, and him and Kobe is close because I really like Kobe. But I was encouraged by just how physical he was, and that's how I like my guards, Brian. Do you think some team's going to look at him and be like, hey, why don't you learn how to snap and step? Brian, do you
they've never played him at center. I mean, if you watch the bowl game this year, they lose their right tackle. Sure.
Emory.
Jones. Jones is gone, right? And so they lose him, and he goes from playing guard to playing right tackle in the game. Yeah. So I've never thought about him being a center. Sure. But I just think this guy's tough. Yep. I think he's mean, and at 6'6", 317, there's some warts to him, but geez, I was encouraged by the way that he kind of picks up these right there, the twists, and the way that he's able to kind of, sit down on those rushers when they come inside. He had to deal with a lot of them in this conference. Yeah. And you picked a really good game here. South Carolina, the Mississippi game, Alabama, they're playing against some big inside dudes. Yeah. And he more than held his own.
Yeah. I'll take him, Bryan Broaddus. I'd love to have him.
I would too.
There we go. Boom, boom, boom. But I was encouraged that we still got offensive linemen that I like here, Brian, because I was ready to give up on offensive line. But how did Miles Frasier end up down my list, and some of these other guys were just up a little bit? I gotta holler at PFF, man. I gotta see what they hitting on. I was being a coward with. Actually, no, I didn't. I'm lying. Okay, never mind, bro. I thought I was being a coward, but I definitely have him over Jonah from Zona. So never mind. I thought I was being a coward.
But you have the Iowa guy over both of them now.
So okay. right now in the fourth round, I got Colby, Belton, Frasier, Frasier, and Savania.
Yeah, Jonah from Zona.
That's his name.
Watch him get picked by the Cowboys, and then you got to learn the name like Oso Digizua, and it just rolls off your tongue. Yeah. Once they're on your team, it just rolls off your tongue.
But if he's an Arizona Cardinal, I'm never going to learn his name. If he's a Raven, I'm never going to learn his name. Yeah. Jake Majors, Brian.
Yeah.
Not as good as Miles, though. Not as good.
No.
I like Miles' film a little bit more. But I was encouraged from Jake Majors, the center from Texas there. I was encouraged by him being a get the job done guy. You know what I'm saying? At least I was encouraged by that. He's still kind of a stalemate dude. I didn't see a bunch of power there, but he seemed to be in the right place at the right time, making the right blocks. His technique in terms of if I'm reaching, my head's on this side, my hands here, my feet's there, he seems to have it. I just think he lacked a lot of physical traits. And just based on where center is right now, I think it's tough. What I did like about him is when his film was regular and discouraging, but when he played against Michigan, Kenny Grant didn't necessarily kill him. There was a couple plays Kenny Grant and them got him, but he was very competitive versus those guys. So the least I could do is look at you and be like, all right, at least you're not just going to wilt to some of the better guys in the league or whatever. But I thought he was incredibly average. But I didn't think he was bad. I didn't see him flopping around too much, but I did see him stalemate. I saw him move. I see him be hat-on-hat guy. I didn't see him drive anybody off the ball. I saw him make second-level blocks. And when he went to go block people out in open space, he didn't move all that fast, but that's cool, whatever. I have him in the fifth round, Bryan Broaddus. I got him right there with Jared Wilson, the kid from Georgia, that I thought was the same kind of guy. So I got him. I got him right there with him. So that's where I'm at with him.
Yeah, I think so. When you're talking about Jake Majors, he's 6'3", he's 304 pounds. This guy started 57 consecutive games at Texas, and so that's the all-time leader right there. He's got adequate size and functional strength. I do like his feet. I think he's got some range to be able to pull, to climb blocks. I do like the way that they kind of use him some in space. I think the recognition, the things on the inside, I think his ability to see blitzes and stunts, I think is good. I think that initial strike, and he really works hard to kind of keep his hands inside, roll his hips, to be able to kind of run, to be an effective run blocker. It doesn't always work out great for him. He's kind of a shorter arm guy. And so he's kind of on that edge of, do guy with teams really, really, really like him because of that, and let's be honest, this is a poor center class unless you're talking about potentially moving Gray Zabel from tackle to guard to center.
Right.
But this guy, Majors, he's just not a people mover in the running game. You're absolutely right. I think that he can be knocked off balance some. He's kind of a guy that's been, handled some bullies in college. We'll see what happens in the NFL. It's 6'3", 304. But I like him because I think he needs to play in a scheme where he can play on the move. And that's much better for him when he can play with a little range. He could get up on the second level. Maybe he has to pull. I think he could kind of do that. But if you ask him just to kind of root guys out of there one-on-one, it's going to be a little bit of a problem for him. But I think the kid is super smart with his football stuff. Off the field, the IQ, he's an academic guy to the highest level. So you got a guy that's super reliable. He's a bit undersized, but super smart. And, you don't want to kind of bet against guys like this, but he's got his limitations as a center. I too have him in the 5th round. But I'm in that, I kind of have him in the 5th round with the guys like Kendall. Lampkin is kind of a guy from North Carolina. I'm trying to kind of hold there.
Sure.
Maybe Majors is better than Lampkin. I mean, they both played a ton of football, both made a ton of starts. Majors at center, Lampkin would have to be a conversion. I wouldn't be surprised if people drafted Majors over Lampkin and maybe even over Kendall there in the 5th round where I have him.
They shouldn't, just because Lampkin 5'10". They shouldn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just the nature of the game, man. Size matters.
Yep.
Pause.
Yep.
So now my 2 extras, Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah.
And normally this is where I let you start and take over or whatever. But Bryan, let me just ask you about Raheem Sanders, Rocket Sanders.
Yeah, Rocket Sanders.
Bryan, I felt like he accumulated a lot of yards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he got them by himself. You know what I'm saying? You know how we can look at some of these running backs and be like, all right, cool. You got this amount of yards. This was blocked up for you, but you got that by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He clearly has some good size to him.
He does. He's 6 foot. He's 217 pounds. By the way, this guy has been up as much as 250 pounds in his career.
Well, damn. Playing fullback stuff. I feel like I wanted him to thump a little bit more for his size because there's other running backs in this class that thump a little more, but it's cool. I was really impressed with him catching the football. Just kind of
that might be his best trait right there. Yeah,
that's kind of what he does. He gets in the open space, catches and makes big plays there. But as a bigger dude, I expect him to kind of run through people. But he kind of he doesn't always bounce off people like some of these other guys bounce off guys.
Right.
I didn't see a bunch of speed from him. You know what I mean?
Nope.
I didn't see much of that from him, but I didn't see him block at all. Like in all the passing plays, he was running some route. I tried to evaluate his blocking. I didn't see him blocking anybody. And I think his vision is hit or miss. I think sometimes he'll make a little cut and a move, and I'm like, damn, boy, that's wide open. Other times he's running right into the defender, Bryan Broaddus. I was like, damn, boy, what you doing? I got him as an extra, Bryan. I think he'll go in the 6th round or something like that. I just couldn't justify putting him higher than that.
I couldn't put him in that group either. He is a transfer from Arkansas. There's some things he could be a little patient. I think he trusts his blockers to kind of do their job. And then, maybe he at times is able to kind of get a little bit more yards because he'll make somebody miss. I think the best thing he does is catch the football.
Yes, sir.
He was 3rd on the team in catches with the Gamecocks in 2024. He was a former wide receiver. So his background is that, but the coaches. I mean, I was talking with Dane Brugger about this kid, and Dane's like, the coaches kind of rave about this guy, and I'm like, okay, because his work ethic and all that. I mentioned he got up to 250 pounds while he was at Arkansas, and then he just kind of with South Carolina, he kind of committed himself to being better, to being better with his diet and better with his conditioning. But he's just not as powerful as I expected for a bigger back, and his feet get slow. He doesn't have, you mentioned the breakaway speed to run away from people. The pass protection stuff needs a lot of work. If you watch the game, I watched the LSU game, they gave him problems. He's fumbled 3 times this year. He's fumbled 9 times in his career. He doesn't play special teams. He has an injury history about him too. He has a meniscus surgery. He's had problems where he had another left knee problem in 2023. He's torn a labrum. That's shoulder surgery. He's kind of a guy that's, he bought into some things at South Carolina, but he just doesn't do enough other than catching the football.
Right.
Just a if they say the old one-trick pony when it comes to that. I too put him in the 6th round. I could not put him in my 5th round group that I kind of have some guys there that I like, the Hunters,
sure.
The Mullings from Michigan.
Yeah.
But I've got Sanders down there with Yarns. I know you like Yarns from Delaware a little bit more than me, but I have him in the 6th round is where I have him.
Boy, Brian, they really tried to get us to watch him too, boy. Like, hey, you need to watch Rocky Sanders, Voch. I saw some big plays but those were normally like blocked up perfectly, like something like.
Yeah.
But rarely did I see him break out of 2 or 3 cats and then boom.
Yeah.
Brian, let me ask you something. 2024 Ollie Gordon or Raheem Sanders?
I'm taking Gordon. I'm taking Gordon over him. Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Gordon over him. Yeah. I mean, my 5th round guys, and I'm being real honest here. I kind of feel like I'm around low on some of these guys.
Yeah.
But I'm going to leave them at that spot.
Sure.
Gordon, Hunter, I mentioned from Auburn, our kid from Rutgers, and then I know you like Krosky Merritt more than me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, more than me. And then Mullings from Michigan. I think he had some good film, but man, I just can't bring those guys into the Allen, Blue, Smith, Martinez, Brook. I can't bring them into that range. I think there's some guys that will play out of that, but you might be right. You might be right about some of those guys who I had in the 5th round might be guys that we see get drafted in the 4th round on right at the start of day 3.
Honestly, Brian, we should just leave the running backs where they at and just let them fly off the board, dogs. They're gonna go all.
Well, that's and I was talking to Dane about that, and I said, hey, talk to me about some of these running backs, because I was just curious to how he had some of them stacked, and he says, Brian, this is the first time I've ever not cared about how they're stacked. Yeah. I mean, he meant for that position, because he goes, everybody is going to see this group differently. Everybody's going to like a guy differently. Yeah. And you can put them in what order, and we will. We'll have a stack, and we'll put them in order. And, Krosky Merritt for you will be higher in your stack than it'll be for me. But that's kind of the beauty of this running back crew. There's not going to be a consensus of 4th round guys could be 3rd round guys. Some 3rd round guys could be 5th round guys. Some 3rd round guys could be 2nd round guys. It's just not any real overall consistency from everybody. Everybody's going to see these guys differently for sure.
Sure. Brian, I ain't got nothing nice to say about Jackson Haws for real, man. I hate I put him on the list, man. But you can go ahead and watch him, though. I mean, he lined up all over the place. He went in motion a bunch, and every time he went in motion, he was getting in somebody's way, but I ain't see him blocking a whole bunch, And he ran some routes. They didn't throw it to him very much. I just didn't get much from his film. But go ahead, Brian. What you got from him?
Yeah, I'll give the kid his due the best I can. He is a transfer from Yale. So he really only played 1 year. He graduated from Yale, played 1 year at Georgia Tech. There's some times where he'll square up as a blocker and tries to keep his hands inside and try and stay attached. He's just got average balance to be able to kind of, turn edge defenders. I mean, maybe they see these front side zone runs and he just really can't. His balance isn't always great. I think, to me, there's that physical presence. I mean, the down blocks, the scoops, those are kind of some of his better blocks. If you watch the Florida State tape, he knocks down some Florida State defenders along the way. So that part of it was positive for me. I think that you see him on the move. He kind of breaks down well. I think you can see him roll his hips. His catch radius is just average, and he's really got poor numbers overall. He's kind of underdeveloped as a route runner. His footwork is a mess when it comes to releasing and how he operates in space. There's a lot of just wasted movement when you watch him run routes. I thought he was a tad stiff. I think the redirection out of breaks wasn't very good. He doesn't catch the ball. He doesn't catch the ball in those contested things. He had 0 catches on 2 contested targets, and they didn't use him in the red zone. And so, he just doesn't do a lot. I mean, the things that you would think for a guy that's 6'5", 253, he'll be 25 years old in his rookie season as well. So it's kind of where I'm at with him. I just really didn't see. I have him down. I have him down in the 6th round with really kind of by himself. I've got the Briggenstool and Gadsden and Yursek and Evans. Those are kind of 5th round guys for me. I just didn't think there was enough to Haws' game to put him in that group with those tight ends. Yeah. I have him in the 6th round, and I'm going to let somebody else be your hero there.
Yeah, let somebody else do it. The Cowboys got a couple characters that's on the team right now playing tight ends that were much better blockers in my personal opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even they can't figure it all out in the league right now. Yeah. So we'll just deal with the guys we have. Bryan, that's it, man. Unless we come across a couple other players, that's it.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and, like I say, I'm gonna go through Dane's Beast.
Yeah.
And see if there's maybe there's a guard from Dane had a 3rd round guard from Georgia. Fairchild, I think was his name. Have you seen him?
Nah, Bryan, we got 15 days, dog. I don't know nothing about no Fairchild. I never heard of the kid.
Yeah. Well, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 guys. If he's got a 3rd round grade on somebody that I haven't seen, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And maybe we can knock out a couple of those guys. Like I said, we're not going to get them all, but we got to our goal of getting over 250, or not 250, over 200 of them.
Yeah.
And so that's usually what I work with. So if I could add a couple more, but I will, I'll sure shoot you a line, and maybe there's 1 or 2 we can add and talk about those, and then kind of put this thing to bed.
Yeah. I'll be on the lookout for 30 visit guys. And if I look at anything else, it'll be something super like 320-pound defensive tackles. I may look at that.
Yeah.
I may look at, tall wide receivers. I may look at a nickel corner here or there, but I'm pretty much done for the most part. If we get that far, Nick Harris got it. I'm sure he. Yeah,
Nick's got Nick. Nick starts in the 7th round and works his way up. Is what he does.
We went the opposite way, so we'll all meet in the 6th round somewhere. Bryan Broaddus, it's a pleasure doing this, man. I feel like this year I am more prepared than I've ever been than any other draft.
You better be. You're about to put your ass on the line for 3 nights.
Hey man, look.
Well, actually, two nights and a day.
Hey, yeah. But Bryan, it's me, man. I got this. I'll be all right. Don't worry.
I know you do, man. I know you do. Oh, by the way, if we could, can we remind our folks about, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or you're in town, Draft 101 at our studios at 105.3 The Fan over off 4131 North Central Expressway. We're having Draft 101. We're having everybody from our draft guys from 105.3 The Fan. There you go. The guys from 105.3 The Fan, myself, Zach, and then Bobby Belt, and then also Voch is joining us, and then our guys from DallasCowboys.com. And we will all be in the showroom answering your questions about the draft. We encourage you, even if you're not a Cowboy fan and you're a fan of the draft, come see us, ask a question about your team. We'll do the best to answer your question for that. And then my guy Travis Hill from Whataburger is going to feed us. So come on by and grab you a Whataburger and then ask some questions. That'll be Thursday, April 17th. Doors open at 6:45, and we start promptly at 7 p.m.
How long is it going to be? Like an hour, 2 hours?
Like 2 hours, bro.
All right.
That thing, man, just have your bottle of water. Bring your sippy cup so you can see. There you go. Bring your sippy cup because you're going to be asking. They're going to be, Voch, I have a question about you really don't like so and so, and then they're going to put you on the spot that way. And then they go, hey, Brian, you really don't like.
Hey, man, don't be asking me about people I don't like, man. Keep it positive in there. Yes, yeah, Brian. Do they have metal detectors down there, man?
I think you'll be good, bro. I think you'll be good.
Oh well, if we good, I'm bringing the other situation. Then we good. I'm bringing the other one.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it, man.
No problem, man. Hey, look, we love y'all to pieces, man. Follow me at VOCHLOMBARDI and BRY Broaddus. I would say go in the comments and recommend a player for us to watch, but y'all been doing it and been letting us down all season by telling us to go watch Rocket Sanders and Jackson Haws. But we love y'all, man. We got drafting a little bit and come see us at Draft 101. Y'all hold it down until next time. Crown.